After a weekend of television drama at its finest,
Yes.
we welcome you back in to the fastest hour in hockey. It's the Real Kyper and Bourne Show, Season 5. Jake the Snake Schultz, Derek Brandeo, Nick Kyprios, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. Wherever you're watching, listening, live on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, 960 in Calgary, Sportsnet Plus. And always, if you can't catch us live, we post on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube right after the show. So,
wow, great job, bud.
Did you wake up this morning and go, okay, jersey or hat on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show?
No,
jersey or
It was
hat?
jersey all day today.
All day?
All day.
But you didn't go with a hat?
No, I didn't go hat. Sometimes I go hat, sometimes I don't go
All
hat.
right.
You know,
Fair enough.
I'm not going to go jersey and hat on the show.
Fair
I think
enough.
That's a little
Not
much,
on the
maybe.
team.
I
You're
did
like a
go
baseball
jersey.
manager.
I did go
pants.
jersey today. Yeah, I don't know what about you guys, but the couch took an absolute beating this weekend. It was
By many.
It was
by millions.
It was gross the amount of time I spent on
Is
the
it
couch.
sad how much our lives revolve around sports? Like,
That thought does cross my mind from time
you know,
to time.
like July and August were bleak, and all of a sudden yesterday I was like fulfilled as a person again.
And we did manage to get in an exhibition game on Sportsnet.
Yeah, we even covered it.
We
Did you?
covered it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Missed that one.
Didn't take too bad.
That one went right over your head.
Here's what I'll say. I was flicking back and forth with Penn State and Oregon in the hockey game, but I didn't catch much of you guys. So
Yeah, that's fine.
The Toronto Blue Jays
Yes.
punched their way into a division win.
to the ALDS.
They did not
starting Saturday.
backdoor this thing.
Win, baby.
Just win. You know, Schneider, the manager, said it a few days ago that we are in control. Doesn't matter. And I think he just nailed it. He just nailed the weekend.
I mean, for the New York Yankees to win 11 of their last 12 games, including 8 in a row to finish, and have it not matter is one of the most incredible statistics that you can ever imagine.
Yeah.
Like, what team does that towards the end of a season? And they just have to stuff it in a locker and head to New York to play in a wild card series against the Boston Red Sox.
There's nothing more satisfying than hearing Buck Martinez's comments about the Yankees just not being a very good team. You know, like it's very satisfying to just win your way through.
I'm over the moon about the Blue Jays. It was an incredible season. I watched 150 games in their entirety. I watch every game. I love the Jays.
Okay, that's sad.
Yeah, listen, you guys said, I'm fulfilled. I'm like, I've been fulfilled all summer, brother.
You know, the one thing that is clear, and you don't have to be like an expert in baseball, is just to watch this team long enough to understand and feel how much they care about each other.
For sure.
And
What a cool team.
Connected team.
how likable they are.
They're almost like the European golf team.
Likability
I was just going to say that.
factor is off the charts with this team. Like, you look down the roster.
It's the new guys. Lucas and
Yeah.
Barger and, you know.
Yeah, they're bringing it
They're
all
the
together.
glue.
Yeah.
But I don't want. I want to be careful here.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
But I'm watching baseball, and I'm watching my sport that I've been around my whole life for. And I'm watching this Blue Jay team in particular act more like hockey players did in the past than today. Like,
Camaraderie-wise? Or?
yeah, and just everything's about the team.
Mhm.
Nothing is about the clothes I wear to the game, the Instagramming, the branding,
The YouTube channels.
You know, granted, okay. I mean, Springer and Junior, they've got their peanut butter commercial.
JMPB.
Yeah, which,
JMPB.
and I'm not going to critique that commercial either,
Get that
but
money.
it's minimal. It's not like, I don't know. I mean, it's just about the team. It's just about winning. Even when they do their interviews, like, they're just so likable.
Yeah, I mean, most comebacks in Major League Baseball this year, contributors up and down the lineup, great pitching.
And it has to be said, a legitimate chance to reach the World Series. Because the two teams that are coming in, they've won the season series against both the Red Sox and the Yankees, own the Yankees this year. Good matchup. I mean, Seattle will be a tough piece of business if they have to face them in the CS, but like, there is a real path So it's pretty exciting times. And
Kirky's my boy.
opening night for the Toronto Maple Leafs across from Game 4 of the ALDS. I'd definitely be watching every moment and doing an in-depth Leafs talk after that.
Is that right? That's
yes,
what it would
sir.
be?
Yes, sir. October 8th.
They're the Jays. Wouldn't they give them like an 11 a.m. start?
Yeah, no, that's, but they're maybe playing the Yankees, so then they'll get the
fair
prime time.
enough.
In a few minutes, we'll welcome in Elliotte Friedman, Hockey Night in Canada, 32 Thoughts, celebrated his 65th birthday on the weekend.
Right.
What the hell?
All right.
No.
What the hell are you talking
How
about?
old is Elliotte?
You just missed by a decade.
How old is he?
He's 55.
Oh, is he 55? That's it?
Oh, come
my
on now.
God.
Okay.
I'll never ask him to come on again. You're embarrassing.
No. Great job. Did you bring in the cupcake Saturday night?
I did not. Well, I think was it Matt Marstrom? Hillary brought him in. It was lovely. A little red velvet, vanilla icing.
Plenty
love
to
red
get
velvet.
into with the insider, Elliotte Friedman, including a signing by the Toronto Maple Leafs, one that probably felt a little bit more urgent with the news that Joseph Woll is
what?
gone,
Okay.
left the hockey club with no feel, and we'll get into this with Elliotte on a possible return.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, this is a great contract. This is a great contract, and I understand the concerns about age and longevity. He hasn't played all these games, whatever, but he was paid as a result of those things, right? If he played, led the NHL in save percentage last year. If he played 60 games, he'd be worth $10 million.
Yeah.
So you're saving a lot of money in the fact that you're only going to get him half the time, and he gets a little security in terms of years. They get a good deal.
I mean, you see the number, right? And I got to be honest, I'm trying hard to come up with like a zag on why this potentially could have be bad at all. And I just can't come up with anything.
Like if his knees are shredded cheese, he's just on LTIR.
It's 4 years. It's 3.75. It's a totally palatable number for a guy who's going to play half the game. I don't know. I thought it was awesome. But Elliott's there.
Good dude.
Okay, let's welcome him in. Hockey Night in Canada's very own Elliotte Friedman. Elliotte, thanks for joining us, man. How are you? You recovered off your wild weekend of celebrating a birthday?
Yeah, I got news for you, Nick. Those weekends aren't that wild anymore. Those days are long over. Long over. I'm too old for that now.
We just moments ago talked about the Stolarz contract. Let's start there with you, Elliotte. Just in terms of where it ended up, I would imagine the ask was a little higher over the stretch of the negotiations from the Stolarz camp. They settle in on an AAV, which probably surprised a few people, being under $4 million. But I imagine that was the carrot for the Leafs to dangle the fourth year on.
Yeah, Nick, I think it's pretty clear here now, just talking to as many people as I could, that the key number for Stolarz in his rep was Alain Wall was $15 million. Like, let's try to get to 15 and let's see how we divvy it up. And I think the Leafs had a lot of say in how they got to that number and how it was all going to work. And I obviously, like, the reaction, when I saw the reaction to the deal, the Leaf fans were ecstatic. And I'm sure the Maple Leafs felt similar in the sense that if you look at a lot of the deals they've done with Tanev, with Tavares, they've stretched out the dollars over term to limit some of the damage to them potentially. Like for Toronto, especially with the cap going up, it's only money, right? So they don't have the same, they're not encumbered the same way they used to be. They've got a lot more flexibility. And, I heard you guys talking, and with whatever injury concerns you may have with Stolarz, if it gets bad for whatever reason, this contract isn't going to hurt them. Like, this is not going to be a deal where they're going to be looking to trade and say, what are we going to have to give up to move this deal? I don't think it's going to hurt them that much at all. And obviously you can see why Stolarz would be happy with it. It's the longest contract he's had since his ELC. Of course he's going to love that kind of security.
Yeah, fans in Toronto love getting a deal on a guy. It puts him in a good position to earn their favor on top of his great year last season. So I'm looking at the cap page. Here I'm on cap wages right now. Next year, him and Joseph Woll will earn a combined $7.4 million, which I believe is about 19th in total cap hit in the NHL right now. This year, it's $6.1 million combined. Going into this year, it's like, God, they have a cheap, wonderful goalie tandem. We think. What do we think? What do we know, or what are you hearing about the potential for them having both goalies fairly soon?
Justin, the only thing we know is that we don't know, and to be honest, I'm not sure the Maple Leafs know yet either.
Oh.
I think they were, this is something that came up pretty quickly, I think, and I think everybody's still trying to grasp the timeline without being intrusive in terms of they asked for privacy and the player requested privacy, and I think people are trying to respect that. And the only thing I can tell you I'm asking is there any indication for when he's going to be able to return? And as we were preparing for our exhibition broadcast on Saturday night, the responses I was getting were simply, they don't know. And so I just think, I think they're hoping for maybe a timeline at the start of the season, just so that they have an understanding of what they're dealing with. But as of the weekend, Justin, the answer was they don't know. And I think too, the interesting thing is going to be, like I saw today, they left Reimer with the Marley group kind of to get some work, and you expect he's going to play one of these two games against Detroit this week. The question to me is, do they sign him, or there's going to be some interesting goalies going on waivers, and the Leafs don't have a high waiver priority here, but depending on what some of these teams do, there's Nico Daws in New Jersey, there's Clay Stevenson in Washington. There's Michael DiPietro with the Boston Bruins. Unless some of these teams are going to keep three goalies, or they're going to do a surprise or make a move, there's three goalies this week at least going on waivers, Justin, that I think some teams are really going to be looking hard at. And Boston signed DiPietro to a 2-year deal to try to prevent against this. But Stevenson and Dawes, I think, too, are going to be guys teams are going to be taking a long look at. And I think these three teams involved are trying to figure out here, if they're going to do waivers, what's the easiest way to do it, or the best chance to sneak someone by.
But none of them have the experience of James Reimer. And we've seen in the past, Elliotte, that whether it was Matt Murray or Martin Jones, that's been an important thing for the Leafs. So how realistic is it that they're going to sign Reimer, who had the most fun like in a long, long time at one practice with the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Well, Nick, I mean, like, how do you, like, if you're not grabbing one of these other guys, you're not going out and getting somebody else. How do you feel about, like, you were the one who laid it out. There's 3 back-to-backs in the first month, right? How comfortable are you going to be starting with Stolarz and say Hildeby? I don't think they're going to be comfortable with that at all. So I would expect Reimer gets signed, or they go out and they go after some other goalie, like one of these guys on waivers.
And do you have any sense which of those names you mentioned there might be a preference for, or just not sure?
I don't. Stevenson, the Rangers went really hard at him when he came out of college, and they lost him to the Capitals. So I know they were a team that really liked him.
Mm-hmm.
So Stevenson, to me, is the one that, when I mentioned his name, he's got one more year at $775, and then he's a UFA. But he's absolutely roadblocked in Washington. Like, they've got Thompson and Lindgren. It's a great combination. I know Stevenson is a guy that intrigues a few teams, but I can't say for sure on Toronto.
All right, moving on from goalies. You good on goalies?
Yeah, we're good. Do you want to go to McTavish?
Sure, yeah. 6 years, is it? $42 million. Do you get a sense for, was there a concession on either side to get that done? What movement had to happen to reach that pretty reasonable deal for both sides?
I think once the Ducks got to 7, it was going to happen. That's my sense, Justin, that Anaheim just had to get there. Nick, Pat Verbeek as well as anybody in the league would, or anybody in our business would. And I think at the end of the day, this is a huge year for the Ducks. And, Verbeek and his lieutenant, Jeff Sullivan, they're very fierce negotiators. But I think they realized, you look at it today, he's on their second-line center. I think he's got Gauthier and Granlund on his wing. This is a big year for the Ducks. Big year. I think everybody realized it didn't make a lot of sense to keep McTavish out to the start of the season. And hey, $42 million, it's great for McTavish, and it's not a back-breaking deal. Aside from Trouba, who they brought in there, the biggest contracts they've given out are $7 million now for McTavish, Terry, and Granlund. So it's not like it blew up Anaheim's salary structure either. And I just think once they got to 7, McTavish was like, okay, I'm more than this.
Yeah, the general feeling I got over that negotiation that the number started from McTavish at 8. So I'm with you. I think it's a pretty good deal for Anaheim. I'm actually kind of surprised that perhaps there wasn't a team out there that would offer sheet him.
Yeah.
Because I think at around 9, even if it was for 2 or 3 years, it would have cost a first, a second, or a third, which I like McTavish a lot. I would have given up a first, second, and third for him. Based on what we saw last season with Edmonton and St. Louis around Broberg, were you surprised that teams are still reluctant to go down that path?
Yes and no. I would. The only reason I would say no, Nick, is that I know teams are terrified of that Gavin McKenna pick this year. There's, there were some teams that looked at that and said, "What if we crater? Or what if we're not that good?" And we've given up the number 1 pick that becomes Gavin McKenna or the defenseman who's really rising up the draft charts right now. I know some teams are really scared of that. The one team, Nick, that wasn't afraid of it, and but I don't think they seriously considered this one, was Carolina. Like they almost offer sheeted Bouchard, and they basically did offer sheet Keandre Miller, but worked out a trade for him instead. I'll say this though, someone did tell me in the last week there was a team out there, and I haven't figured out who it was, that was trying to reacquire one of their draft picks to think about an offer sheet for McTavish. And I thought my first immediate guess was Carolina, but they said that wasn't the team. So somebody did at least consider it. But, Nick, I think the fear of that McKenna pick has terrified a number of teams out there. And the other thing, too, is the Ducks, by the way, they made it clear they weren't doing bridge here. They were always doing terms. So that made it a bit of a longer conversation,
well,
too.
That's kind of what I wanted to ask you about, just in general. I have been looking at these guys who are legitimately great players, and I'm not so sure about the commitment to term all the time. I understand that people like security and guaranteed money and all those sorts of things. McTavish had 22 goals and 30 assists last year at 22 years old. His ceiling is to be, an 80-point, 215-pound centerman. If he goes 3 years, 4 years, he could make $15 million. It just feels like I feel like teams are making great value deals right now, and I'm not so sure that agents have caught up to the idea that they're leaving a lot of money out there.
No, I think there are. Like I said, I think in this case, Verbeek made it very clear they were not doing bridge.
Yeah.
And I heard that in several places, that Anaheim made it very clear that they were going for a term, and they just had to get to a place where both sides agreed. I think you're right. Justin, I'll tell you this. I think there are more players, particularly younger players, who are willing to do short-term deals right now. But we have a situation where the cap has really jumped, and there's a bit of a battle being fought between the agents and players who want to take advantage of it, and the teams who are trying to push back. Like, I've had a few managers tell me, and it's not collusion. Like, the whole thing with Kaprizov, nobody's offering Kaprizov 8x16 if there's collusion out there. But I think there is a feeling of, we have to hold the line because the asks out there are getting really, really high and commensurate with where the cap has gone. So I think what's one of the reasons, like, you take a look at all these extensions for UFAs this year. Eichel, McDavid, I think, is a bit of a separate situation, but Eichel, Kaprizov, Alex Tuch, like, look at all the guys who are unsigned going into next year, and they haven't signed yet. And remember, everybody was talking about how Draisaitl waited last year until the first week of September. Well, now we're headed into October, and look at all of the uncertainty. And Justin, I don't think that's a term issue, but I think it is a percentage of the cap issue. So I think they are trying to wield their power. And I will say this, Justin, I've asked players before about signing shorter term. I'll say this, that the one thing that they all say to me is that they feel in hockey there's just such a huge risk of injury that a lot of guys will take the security.
You're watching and listening to Hockey Night in Canada and 32 Thoughts, Elliotte Friedman. So I would imagine between Kirill the Thrill and Connor, I don't know, the song and dance will continue.
Kirill, and I get the sense right now, Nick, that the Wild are kind of saying, this is where we are, 8x16. I think they're wondering two things. Number one, is anybody out? Does he want to be here?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing they're trying to figure out. And number two, are we negotiating against ourselves? Like, just say for argument's sake, they say, okay, we'll do 8 times 18. Do they really feel that there's anybody out there that's going to beat that? And if he wants to leave, he's going to leave for whatever anyway. So what's the point of raising the offer? So I think the Wild kind of let this sit and percolate and see where this goes, if anywhere.
The danger,
McDavid,
Elliotte, the danger with these superstars is trying to hold on to hope. And we've said it best on what hope is.
It kills a man.
Right? And, if the it's the Marner and the Leafs. Like, now that we've had a chance to really reflect, did you ever think that there was a chance that Mitch Marner was going to ever sign in Toronto?
The only thing I've said, Nick, is if they beat Florida, don't you think they find a way?
I based a lot of my feeling on they're banking on a big run and he changes his mind, but it never came close. So I'm just wondering now, can Minnesota do the same thing? Can they just sit there and hope Kirill changes his mind?
Nick, I think you're bang on. I mean, one of the challenges there, and we learned this last year, is that Marner had the hammer with the no move clause, right? And Kaprizov's got the same thing. So you're limited in what you can do. But I think the thing you're 100% bang on right about is it's like dating, right? It's like asking somebody out. If this person says no, do I go back to them and say, all right, I'm going to try to convince them to change their mind?
Yeah.
Or as the movie goes, he's just not that into you. You have to be honest about what the truth is.
And
McDavid,
we know you got plenty of experience there, right?
That's right. I understand. I've heard the line. There's plenty of other fish in the sea. There's plenty of other fish in the sea. With McDavid, I just think it's I don't know. My whole feeling on McDavid has been pretty honest. I think he's going to sign for short term. I think the number is going to be lower than we think. I think it's going to be below 16 if he stays there.
That's a shock to me if that happens.
Let Kirill lead the league in AAV.
I could see it. I could really see it. I think if he stays, then he's going to. I mean, he wants to win. I think he's well aware that if he stays in Edmonton, they've got Draisaitl making 14. They've got Bouchard making 10.25. They got Nurse making 9.25. So 10.5, for Bouchard. I think he's going to say, I can't completely prevent them from building, right? So I still think he stays short term, and I'm willing to be proven wrong on that if it happens.
My 2 cents is Kirill is going to get traded. On to the Leafs here. One more Leaf-related question, and it relates to the whole league at large, which is, how hard is it to make trades right now? Every team has players. You're looking at the Leafs lineup. Today, their forward lines leave out Kampf, Yarncroc, Robertson, and Pizzetta.
I saw that.
At some point, those are good NHL players, but I feel like every team has guys right now. It's really tough to make a trade at this time of year.
I think it's the one guy you mentioned, and I think it's a bit of a source of frustration for Robertson that it's lasted on this long.
Mm-hmm.
For me, with Robertson, the issue has always been that I don't know if worried's the right word, but he goes somewhere else and just scores, right? And then you just sit there and you say, oh, we couldn't have that. But I have sat next to you guys, and I really like watching games with you guys because I find that the thing that you guys do is you pick apart the defensive issues right away. Like, you see the mistakes in the D zone right away. And if the Maple Leafs are not confident in Robertson as a defensive player, there's no point in holding on to him. Just cut bait. So I think with guys like Kampf and Yarncroc, the problem is that teams are probably saying, what can we do with what can we get out of the Maple Leafs for doing this, right? And I think Toronto doesn't really want to do that. So I think that's part of the issues with those guys. Robertson, to me, it's more of an issue of, hey, what's going to happen when he moves on? And But that one, like putting all these guys on waivers, we'll
So
do it anyway.
Yep.
You have no room to play him. You signed him to $1.8 million. And you're worried about him scoring on another team. Like,
it's also very funny that they have an opening on the right wing in the top 6, and they're like, if only we had somewhere to give him a chance. We just can't see it.
There's no place for him on this hockey club.
Yeah.
Could he get a shift beside Matthews and Nyes? I don't know. No. I agree. No, I'm just saying if it doesn't, then there's nowhere. You don't want him anywhere. So cut bait. You're right,
Elliotte.
I remember Berkey. Remember what he did with Ilya Bryzgalov? He said, we got nothing for him here. We got to put him on waivers and give him a chance somewhere else. Like eventually, you reach that point.
Got to ask you. We also watched Marc-Andre Fleury with a pretty emotional night in Pittsburgh, and I've lost the counts of goodbyes. Hey, listen,
you were really upset by it.
It's not something that like it was near and dear to watch for me personally, but it touched a lot of people in Pittsburgh, and for an organization that may not have a lot of upside moving forward, I think it was a real important connection between these guys and that city that has been so loyal to all these players from the moment Mario got drafted. Like they deserved that night. It wasn't for me, but it was certainly for them. But I don't know what the immediate future looks for all of them, including a challenging, not only rebuild, but maybe a transition into new ownership.
Well, I mean, the one thing that someone said to me, Nick, is that they wonder if there's going to be more of this. Like the one name someone mentioned to me was Claude Giroux. Like, could you see a situation if Claude Giroux retires as an Ottawa Senator where Philly brings him back for one extra? Because it was hugely attended. It was like more fans in a building than for a normal exhibition game. I'm sure they did a killing on concessions and merch and stuff like that. The only thing that might save everyone from that happening is that there's going to be fewer exhibition games. But there were people who looked at that and said, I guarantee you that's not the last time we're going to see that.
Yeah,
as for the Penguins,
it's Marc-Andre Fleury. He's a Hall of Famer. The Stanley Cups, like Claude Giroux, love him, but come on, you can't touch that and compare it to Giroux back in Philly, who didn't win a thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm just saying. It's interesting to me. It's interesting. I had a couple of people say, this isn't the last time we're going to see this happen.
It's very funny. The Penguins have the goodwill machine, like just overdrive. They had the Hall of Fame thing. They inducted Scotty Bowman, Ron Francis, Eddie Johnson, Kevin Stevens, bringing back the old guys, Marc-Andre Fleury. They're just generating as much goodwill before they're just terrible for Gavin McKenna and hopefully a sale. It's all part of the plan.
It makes sense.
That's the thing, too. Like, imagine you're a new owner. First thing, go in there. Okay. Like, that's what happened to Fenway Sports Group. They were supposed to move on from Malkin and Letang. Mm-hmm. And then when the moment came, they got cold feet. Ron Hextall was hired with that plan, and then they got cold feet. No, we can't do this. So that's a challenge for a new ownership group. Big challenge.
All right. Let's let him go.
Great stuff, Elliotte.
Happy birthday again.
We keep you any longer, you'll be celebrating a new birthday.
See you guys on Thursday night for the third of our exhibition trio.
Can't wait. Thanks, Reach.
Elliotte Friedman.
Take care, guys. See you later.
I say that sarcastically. I actually do love this stuff. I'm so happy the Leafs are back.
And the Jays also do us a huge favor because they keep us on the air all week.
So here's what I was going to say. I didn't want to do it right off the top, but yeah, you guys wouldn't have been upset about a wild card game.
We
left the studio on Friday, and you're like, the wild card wouldn't be the worst thing.
We would have had a few rounds of golf. That's all. The middle of the day would have been.
I broke my ribs, and that's been shut down for a very long time.
Oh, you only had 3 other months of the summer to do it.
That's the only reason. I thought maybe
I will happily be here.
Oh,
in the ALDS
for sure.
I've been seeing a little bit of this on Twitter about potentially Bill Zito making a big trade. And, because they have all that extra cap space, right? Because
Barkov.
Malkin?
Oh,
does that make sense?
Problems?
Does that make sense?
Like a big Russian centerman?
Florida always had good Russians there. I don't know. I just thought that was something nice. I thought it would be interesting because they're going to trade him.
I've heard some people mention Crosby.
No way.
No, I don't think it's. I don't think it's doable. I don't think it's doable. But
ruined.
No way. He's not going to go to Florida. Come on.
First of all,
he's a legacy guy. He's not going to go to
believe that. And I think at the end of March it could be all 7 months, if my math is correct.
Yes.
Right.
It takes you to April.
It takes you to April.
They said 7 to 9 months.
There's a sense that you, like, first of all, like, we're under that cap, so his $10 million, is he a 10?
Yeah.
Will have to be included there. So what's Malkin at? 6.5, 7?
Yep. But then you get to playoffs. There is some chicanery they can do to
people get hurt. Like, you never know who's going to be in the lineup. Like,
just to get you where you're going and figure it out in playoffs. I don't know.
I can just picture Malkin in that jersey.
You're not in horrible shape with Bennett and Lundell. That Lundell's sneaky. He's a legit number 2 in my opinion right now.
Yeah, their second line is their third line from the final last year.
And then you didn't have to move Rodriguez. There's another serviceable player, though I'm sure can kind of play top 9. So I don't see a big panic right now to go and plug a hole in anytime soon.
That Mackie Samoskevich, what do you have, 15-20 last year? He's going to get more than that this year. It's a good team, guys. I don't know if you heard about them.
Reinhardt.
Does Reinhardt still play?
Reinhardt can play center.
Verhaeghe, Bennett, Luosterainen, Marchand.
They get a lot of guys.
Back end.
I do like Lundell. It's a good point.
Oh,
he's
like Mikola Jones.
He's solid.
Kulikov.
Solid.
Perfect.
Let's take a break.
All right, you heard the man. Catch his breath. Blue Jays, Ryder Cup. Man, you're exhausted.
Ryder Cup was
Did
unbelievable.
a hockey game break out there or what?
That was something else, man. That was very Long Island, New York.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Humanity.
Do people care? Should we do golf takes?
No. Okay.
Well, okay.
Give me one before
Quickly.
we go to break.
People were just, people love piling on the States, myself included. And everybody was just immediately taking Justin Rose's side in that, like, the line thing with his caddy or whatever. But Bryson's caddy legitimately thought that he was away. Like, he's not going to go in Justin Rose's line and be like, ooga booga, ooga booga. Like, he thought he was away. And Rose was pompous about it. He was rude, and he deserved to have something said to him. So that's that.
He did apologize, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he kind of after. They said it was over, and, Ted Scott and Francisco Molinari did the weirdest video together saying that there's no beef or whatever. But I just think that, like, everybody gets blinded.
Not that big of a problem with that.
I loved it.
Awesome.
I loved it. Makes it great.
Start to finish was awesome.
But everybody blamed Bryson, and I didn't think he necessarily
It's incredibly intense. You can have a weak moment where you snap for an innocent situation with the caddy. It was innocent.
Yeah.
It's actually
I agree with you. He didn't do anything. He wasn't trying to throw anybody off. But if Rose snapped at him for 5 seconds, it's okay.
Also, it's got to be frustrating for DeChambeau that, like, he can't just, like, Donkey Kong mallet like Donald and Fleetwood and just put them away.
Lunatic. Like, he made that putt to have on the 18th, and he forgot to shake Fitzpatrick's hand because he was like, he just didn't know what to do with his body. So, anyways.
Well, he made the putt on 9 to win that hole, and he looked like he just scored a touchdown with the tush push. Like,
Anyways, there's
okay, we'll take a quick break. When we return, plenty more, especially here in Canada. The Jets with a key injury for the next 4 to 6 weeks. McDavid and Draisaitl have a new winger. Plenty more when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. Welcome back into the studio. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. Sammy with his Blue Jay jersey.
Yes, buddy. Yes.
Hope you're not peaking early here. We got a whole week.
Honestly.
Do you know how many Blue Jays hats he has? Like, at least a dozen.
At least.
He'll have fresh gear all the way through.
Do you have like one closet or the hats scattered all over the place?
Please don't.
Bro, let's ask Allie.
Because sometimes the Allie listens to the show. And it's a point.
Also a source of tension at my house. My wife is regularly trying to throw hats out.
They're like, some of the doors have like hats hanging on like the on like the handle.
You got to do better than that.
No, I know.
Go home and leave one on the couch. You'll hear it too.
They're not. It's not organized. Nothing in my life is very organized, quite frankly.
Sammy, you got some Kippers Clippers?
Yeah, actually. So we talked about this a little bit last week with Stolarz. And I remember you saying, you even did bring this up to Tree about Stolarz potentially betting on himself this season. And at his press conference this morning, because he addressed the media after practice, somebody asked him about that. Not your question, but the thing. Derek, if we could get Stolarz clip 2 on him potentially betting on himself this season.
I mean, you obviously have those thoughts, but I mean, at the end of the day, this is where I wanted to be. Last summer, or 2 summers ago, I guess, this organization showed a lot of faith in me to sign me to a 2-year contract, and everything has been first class, and I've really enjoyed my stay here. So for me, if something could be worked out where I could stay long term and be a part of this group, I thought it was a win-win for both sides.
Yeah, this whole thing, betting on yourself is. Yeah, people should do a study on it.
Why is that? To me, you bet
because
on making $15 million.
It's all about, I guess, personality and the type of person you are and how aggressive you are. And to your point, how much are you willing to mess with $15 million to turn it into $30 million?
Yeah.
It's a big question. I wonder if, we're hoping to talk to him at some point, and I don't know if we will or not, but you wonder if he has worries too, right? Like his health more than other people's health is like, am I sure this is going to hold up? Maybe I should sign some on paper
on the dotted line.
I think there's for sure a lot of truth to that. I think in this instance, though, I think it has more to do with him just kind of where his comfort zone is and what he thinks he
down
is.
To home. He's found he's a starter in a big market.
No, he's not a starter. He's not, but he's a starter on the Leafs.
Oh, that's insulting.
So
he's
still
he's the 34th best goalie in the league?
No, why is that insulting?
Well, because he had the best save percentage in the NHL last year, and he's their guy who's going to start.
But you're getting caught up in like, what is the true sign of a number one goalie in your opinion?
He hasn't been one though. I understand he's
for
had
his
injuries.
whole career.
He hasn't been for his whole. Well, last year I'd call him the
why?
tandem.
Why would you do that?
Why did you do what?
Why wouldn't you call him, instead of calling him a legit starter, why wouldn't you say he's one of the best second kind of guys?
Because I believe
in the league,
he's as good as starters in the NHL, and I know he hasn't played games, but
this contract doesesn't reflect that.
This
reflects contract,
a tandem guy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and it's why he's not, like, if I would have asked you, would his AAV end up being less than $4 million? You probably would have told me I'm crazy.
I said to some insider at some point not that long ago, I was like, I think it was like 4.5. Will he get 4 times 4.5? And they said higher.
This contract doesn't reflect a starting goalie in the NHL.
Well, maybe it's an excellent contract then. Because if he gives him 40 games of what he gave him last year, it's an incredible deal.
Yeah. Can he give him 45?
Even if he
46.
But that's what's so incredible about this.
But according to this contract, the answer is no.
Well, he's being paid for it to be no.
$5 million, even on guys that we question. Like $5 million went to Joey Decord in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody would look at Joey Decord and say, this is the future of Seattle, and he's going to lead them to the promised land. Jari, who has had stints in the minors last year, is making $5 million.
That was
Do you know why?
Contract.
Do you know why they're making $5 million? Because they have shown an ability to play 50-plus games.
Yeah.
I want to know what your point is.
Yes, me too.
My point is that Stolarz signed this because he knows what he is.
Okay.
That's fair. I think that's fair. I don't have anything to rebuttal with that.
It's not reflective of a legit number one goalie on a Stanley Cup team.
Now, here's what's complicated with
I'm not saying he can't get there. But I'm saying in all probability, he's not that guy, and that's based on over 10 years of proof.
Right, but he was a backup for years and years.
Yeah.
He was a backup. So, guys get better, they earn their starting job, whatever. So I don't think it's like he's tried to be a starter 10 times and has been injured 10 times.
Why?
He was a backup for a lot of
Of course, he tried to be a starter for 10 years.
He wasn't good enough to be a starter. Now he's good enough to be a starter. He has been probably the last few years. And last year was really...
Like, what makes you say he's good enough to be a starter?
Well, last year, I mean, his numbers and everything have indicated he's
over
ready.
34 games.
Sure. And so last year was really the first time he went to a team and they said, let's see how many games you can play and if you can stop enough pucks, whatever. So what's different about Stolarz is when you get to the playoffs, they tried to play him like a starter. They played him 7 straight times in the opening round, and he was very good until he got bonked on the head, something which has never happened to him before. And when they get to playoffs this year, Kip, they're going to try the same thing. They're going to try to have him be a starter. He's not going to be a part of a tandem.
He's going to be a tandem in the regular season, and then they get to the playoffs. You hope that he is showing himself to be the best of the tandem, and you start him for the playoffs like he's a starter.
And he's 0 for 1 in being able to do that.
Yeah.
He's not 0 for 11 or whatever, 0 for 10. He's 0 for 1 in being able to do that. We'll see. We'll see.
I think it's a great contract for the Leafs, no question. I think it's a good contract for him because he gets 4 years of at least being what he has proven to be. Mm-hmm. Anything above that is a bonus. He will not see any upside now because he chose not to. If he got 40-plus games, gives you the similar stats, now he's bumping up in the 5-6 range. He's doubling his salary.
It is funny because
he was not willing to do that.
Yeah, he's not incentivized to try to play 60 games or something.
Because I don't think he thinks he can.
Yeah.
Or 50.
But how many guys are there that do that now?
It's a great question. How many goalies played
50 games?
55 games, 50 games, whatever last year. This is a stat we can find.
We have that
guess for me. 20?
20. I don't think close
17?
All right,
15,
what's the number?
half?
How many do you want to know?
Half.
Literally 20 guys in the NHL played
started
50 games last year.
Really?
20 guys.
They're all perceived.
Do you want to hear the names?
They're all perceived as number 1 goalies on their respective club.
Credit to you.
Here are your
I am
names.
stunned by that number.
Here are your names. Skinner, Hill, Kemper, Merzlikins, Wolf, Blackwood, Binnington, Bobrovsky, Luukkonen, Decord, Vijmelka, Swayman, Ottinger, Gustafsson, Saros, Montembeau, Sorokin, Shesterkin, Hellebuck, Vasilevsky.
Outside of numbers.
It got hot there at the end. But
well, I went from bottom to top.
I'm going to tell you, I'm taking Stolarz over a lot of those guys.
Yes.
Straight up. I am. And especially at his number.
Markstrom,
I don't know what that
Dustall,
means.
and
Over the
Lankinen
course of a
played 49.
season?
Just to have on my team. His numbers were excellent last year, and he was really good in the playoffs until he got attacked by Sam Bennett.
He played the 36th
with the
most
attack.
games.
He got attacked.
He got bumped.
He got attacked.
He got bumped.
It was a
He threw a
vicious.
tire iron.
It was
He
a
got
vicious act of violence.
Stop it.
Hey,
Sweet
Stolarz
boy.
played the 36th most amount of games last year. So, that's not.
I think he's in his
number one.
wheelhouse at 3.75.
Yeah.
That's all.
And I think, like you said, great for him, where he gets the security, and it's a great gamble for the Leafs. What if he ends up playing 50 this year?
Yeah.
What if this is the year?
Their bet is, right? That
But
he can.
you have zero belief that can happen.
I'm basing it over.
For sure. I know what you're basing it on.
No proof
Yeah.
right now. Like 40 games would be, I think, a great milestone for him. 40, half.
Yeah.
So right now you're left with not sure if Woll is going to be around and James Reimer for half your NHL schedule.
Don't lie to you. It's an issue.
We went into the season being like, at least the goaltending solid in one thing. And it's like, oh God.
Yeah.
Okay. Dylan Sandberg
Jets talk.
out
Yeah,
for
6 to 8.
6 to 8 with a broken wrist.
He became really important
Yes.
for them last year.
Yeah.
Going into last year, I don't know that I would have rated him nearly as highly as I do now. They're still pretty good in the back end. Morrissey, DeMello, Pionk, can Stanley take Shen?
6'4". It's nice back there.
Nice to have. So 6 to 8 weeks with a broken wrist. That's
This team still looks pretty good to me.
yeah, totally.
I think Taves is a total wild card, and I really don't have any
Bottom
idea what
six
to
forwards are great.
expect. But yeah, good bottom 6, good decor. I mean, the best regular season goalie in the league.
Defending President's Trophy.
Can't
winners.
wait for him to start a big game against Canada in the Olympics. That's going to be awesome.
Oh, so
Really
now
really
on,
looking
it's
forward to that.
Hellebuck can't do the big game.
No. He has to start. Like, No one else starts for America. Hellebuck starts. He's got to be the number one, clearly.
He was pretty good in that game
until he
McDavid ripped one top corner.
Trent Frederick settles in alongside McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah.
Good feeling after Oilers beat the Canucks.
$8 million, 8-year contract, not $8 million, 8-year contract for Trent Frederick. They think he's a player. I think he's a player. Mm-hmm. Could you have a little protection for Connor out there? Someone who can shoot the puck in the net? I don't know. Who else are you going to put there? I know that's part of the problem. It's like Thomas Sack.
Is he going to be one of those guys where he's there for 2-3 weeks, hits a rut, backs off, back
leafy.
on, back off, or can he be a constant for
That's a
McDavid?
Powerful line.
Draisaitl's the guy that drops off, right, for the balance when you need it, but can Frederick hold?
I guess you're holding till Hyman can be back. When is that?
I say mid-November.
Okay.
And he can do a Hyman impression.
Yeah, give you 6 weeks.
Guy goes to the front of the net, kind of play that role of, just standing there, cross-checking guys in front, having the two of the best players in the world bounce pucks off of you and in. I think he can do that.
Yeah.
Like, honestly. I just wondering where that contract is.
Earlier in the show, we had Elliotte Friedman on. Are you as confident as he is about the short-term deal? Elliotte just kind of blew me out of the water with he'll sign for under, what do you say?
Under 16.
Under 16.
McDavid coming back short-term, under 16. That's the current vibe.
From Freach.
There'd be a lot of people unhappy. I think in the
Players Association.
Players Association.
Yeah, I can see that. It's funny. Elliotte said, not that it's collusion, but they're kind of holding the line on not wanting to just get away from them. But you look at the NBA, and teams that want to win spend money to get good players, and they use that cap space, and it's going to get there eventually. So,
you said Kirill's going to get traded.
I think Kirill's going to get traded. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I don't think he wants to be there. And that's not. I like Minnesota and think they're a fine team.
I have no reason to believe he wants to be there either. But
when someone offers you more than anyone in the league,
that's a lot of money to say no.
What's the no then? What's the no? Well, I don't really like you.
Yeah, how if you're a manager of a team and you offer a guy that much money and they say no, how else can you take that?
You point at Leon Draisaitl and you go, two-time Hart Trophy winner or whatever, at least one. Back-to-back Cup Finals, Art Ross. You're $2 million per year better than him. No, you want more?
If I'm
bye-bye.
Bill Guerin, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt of not knowing. But by Christmas, before Christmas, I need 3 or 4 teams on a list that you would waive your no move. And if you don't,
don't even.
Hold on, I'm not finished.
Don't say Barkov.
If you don't, I'm sending you home to wait. You are not welcome
participating
in
back
my
to Dynamo
future matches.
You're not welcomed in this dressing room anymore without a commitment moving forward. I'll pay you to stay home.
Yeah. No, that's the right thing to do there. The Russian players do love Florida. Not saying, just saying that's a thing.
Malkin and Kaprizov coming right up in Florida. They'll just get everybody, and then somehow they'll fit them all in.
Yeah, I see. I retweeted a thing the other day. Someone was like, front runners for Evgeny Kuznetsov are Toronto and Florida.
Who said that?
No. Someone trying to drum up the price of his KHL contract.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah, I can't see that.
No chance.
Coming.
Way too many forwards currently.
Yeah, why sign this guy that was worse than all of them?
Yeah.
Like he was done when he was here last time.
Yeah. Do you see any of those guys that got cleared from the World Juniors playing in Canada? Because that seems to be a feel. Carter Hart, for instance. Mm-hmm. Like, we're going to hear that it's been lifted, the ban's been lifted, or the suspension's been lifted.
They can sign in 2 days. They can sign
2 days. Contract. Are we going to hear Carter Hart signing in this?
Thanks.
Do you think he could sign in Canada?
No. None of them in Canada.
None of them in Canada.
Quickly,
I agree.
Before we go, shout out to my home done attack. 4-0 start to the season. Just swept the weekend. Beat Barrie twice.
What a sports weekend for you.
Baby, for my Bears.
Let's go. Beware the Bear. For you.
Grey Bruce hockey, 4-0.
All right. Our thanks to Elliotte Friedman. If you didn't get a chance to catch our full hour live, download us or watch us on YouTube. Have a great night, everybody.